Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to all of you for this Global Women Empowerment Sessions 2020. I'm Sri Lakshmi from UK, sharing this meditation in UK from the past 8 years. Today we have with us Sanveen from Calgary, Canada. She'll be talking on attaining higher consciousness from the 3D dimensional to the fifth dimensional. So, friends, under the guidance of Brahmarshi Pitamaha Patriji, we are doing this Triple One Days Global Goddess Meditation Circle. As part of this Triple One Days Global Goddess Meditation Circle, we have successfully entered into day 24 of our program. So, before starting our session, let's meditate for 2 minutes. So, I request everyone to please close your eyes. Start observing your normal and natural breath. Let's invite all the divine goddess energies, all the higher beings of love and light, angels, archangels, and all the divine feminine masters in this universe. Let's connect with them and do meditation for 2 minutes, my dear friends. Completely surrender to all these divine masters. Be open and receptive to the healing energies flowing from all these enlightened beings. Let's send and radiate love and compassionate energies flowing from all these divine masters to all the beings on this planet Earth. May all the living beings on this planet Earth live happy, healthy, and peaceful. Okay, friends. Now gently place your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds, and you can slowly open your eyes now. So I'm so happy to introduce today's speaker, Sanveen from Calgary, Canada. She got introduced to this breath meditation by Master Pranahita, London. With the help of Master Pranahita, Master Ravikiran, and Master Prabodh, she understood the meaning of her existence and the purpose of life. Thus, she began her spiritual journey towards self-discovery. In 2015, she started experiencing visions of gods, past lives, and increased her intuitive powers. In 2016, she also met Master Prabodh, and through this master, she gained a lot of deeper insights into the spiritual world. And today, now she's spreading a lot of wisdom, and she's sharing her wisdom through her meditation sessions in Calgary, Canada, and in North America. Sanveen, we are so happy today you're with us in this great, wonderful program. I welcome you, Sanveen. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sri Lakshmi. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to express myself here at the Global Goddess Meditation Circle. I'm so pleased to be here and to be able to talk to you in person about how it feels to be a woman in this current climate, in this new world, and how my journey all began. So I'll give you a brief introduction on that. First of all, I think Sri Lakshmi has already explained a bit. Just to say briefly that it doesn't matter at what point in your life you start meditation. As long as the journey has begun, you're on the right track. So if this is the first day you're watching this from anywhere across the globe, it is that you're here for a reason. That means you're awakened or you're awakening. So thank you for being here, first of all, and thank you for being with me on this journey. So I started meditating some years back, and then I got a lot of experiences, third eye experiences. Um, Especially started getting images of gods when I was in the UK. As soon as I moved to Canada, things shifted a bit, and I got a lot of visions related to feminine gods. And clearly, there was a message there that I was trying to tap into my more feminine side. And thus, I got the message that I should be reaching out to more people, especially women across the globe, and help them in any of their personal issues. So today I'm going to do a presentation on moving into the fifth dimension. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, Sanveen.
Thank you. So it is a pretty long presentation. I am going to rush through it. So if you feel that I'm rushing through it, just make note of your questions, and I'm going to take them towards the end if we have time. Otherwise, you can send your questions to Sri Lakshmi, and I will try to answer them at a later date. So, what is consciousness, first of all? Consciousness simply is a state of being aware of and responsive towards your own surroundings. Now, that just simply means that you are aware, you have a sense around you or inside of you, whereby you know that something's happening around you and you respond to it. That simply is consciousness. So, what level of consciousness you are at is what will decide how you respond to these external stimuli. Okay, so
Sanveen,
next
your
slide.
voice is breaking.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so consciousness is a state of being aware. Now, the next slide, it says there are 4 types of consciousness. Why I'm going to go into the detail of this is because it's important for us to understand where we are coming from when it comes to how we respond to external stimuli and how we take it all in, and where do we store our meditation and all the wisdom that we get from meditation. So mind consciousness is simply what we, as we are all aware, it's the cerebrum, and it's the working consciousness. So it's, in the good sense, it just takes in whatever we see and how we respond to it in a physical sense. It's also the monkey mind. So whenever we are um, um, anxious or fearful, this is the mind that's also playing the frontal part of it. The second is the sense consciousness, which means whatever 5 senses that we have: touch, feel, hear, speak, taste. That's the consciousness. So whenever we are tasting something, we get a sort of the consciousness that we receive is, oh, this is really tasty, the food is really good. So it is coming to our consciousness that something is tasting good or not looking right, or I don't like to hear what you're saying. That's the sort of consciousness we're getting from these senses. The next is the most important. It's called store consciousness. Now, we won't get hung up on the words of this, but just try to understand the concept of this. This is all where all the information is stored at a subconscious level. For example, how you respond to danger, or how you respond to certain feeling, like a consciousness, as in if somebody says something to me and I don't like the way they are saying it, not what they're saying, but how they are saying it, or their action or their body language. This is where that consciousness will take in whatever that person is doing, and the outcome of that will be registered in this consciousness. It's also the part where your past is stored and that of your ancestors. I mean, at least where you're responding to. So whenever you come up with, how somebody says to you, oh, you're just behaving like your mom or your father, this is where it is coming out from, because the consciousness within you is made up of your own past experiences, of the current life, of your previous life, as well as from the previous life and your ancestors' previous lifetimes as well. This is the part that uses minimum energy. For example, if you're sleeping at night and suddenly it gets very cold and you pull a blanket all over you, you don't need your mind to tell you, hey, get up and get a blanket. You just need a certain subconscious telling you, or a consciousness that is telling you, just pull the blanket over you, it's very hot, or take it off, it's very hot, take it off, it's very cold, and put it on. So this part of your consciousness uses minimum energy. It is also the part which is affected by the collective consciousness. What is collective consciousness? Whatever consciousness we have as a collective, as human beings, as alien beings, whatever beings that we have in the universe, whatever consciousness they all are projecting, that is called collective consciousness. It can also be a group consciousness, like a smaller group, but the collective consciousness of a smaller group. So this part is influenced by that. So whatever, for example, if you tell me something and I get influenced by that, it's because I'm getting influenced by a sort of collective consciousness. So for example, if society has a certain idea that as a woman I should behave like this, and this has been induced to me over generations, this sort of behaviors and this sort of information will be stored in my store consciousness. This is also the part, the consciousness that offers enlightenment and transformation. So if I want to change from within, this is where I'll be changing. This is why I took up this part, this slide, to try to explain to you which part of your consciousness you'll be affecting. This is the part that will offer you enlightenment and transformation. So just remember that aspect. And this is also the storehouse of fear, anger, lust, jealousy, and enviousness, all sorts of negative emotions that we feel and that are embedded inside of us, embedded, deeply embedded. I'm not just saying external, that comes from mind consciousness as well. But something that is deeply embedded between us is the fear conscious, is the store consciousness. Now, a part of the store consciousness is where suddenly you start to get a feeling of me, myself. I am feeling fearful. I am feeling enlightened. Even some of the positive emotions that we are feeling, we associate with a sense of I. Now that part of it is a part of store consciousness that is way embedded. It's called manas in Buddhist philosophy, but we will just call it deeper consciousness, for example. This relies completely on store consciousness. Why I'm talking about this here today is because when we are doing meditation, this is the part that we want to finally reach. So ultimately, we will go through all of these types of consciousness when we are trying to affect our level of thinking, our level of consciousness. Okay, so that slide took a while. I thank you for bearing with me, but I will zoom through the others. Now we are living in a third dimensional reality. It, whatever physical surroundings that we have, that's the third dimension. So it consists of everything that seems real to us. Why it seems real? Because we are having this little experience of talking, or of relationships, or of any doings that happen to us on a regular basis. Okay, so it is basically a projection of ego, lies, judgments, control, fear, to name a few. So whatever we are feeling in our mind consciousness and store consciousness is coming from this three-dimensional world. All the negative emotions as well as the positive emotions. Somebody who loves us or somebody who adores us, our children absolutely love us. So this is coming from the third dimensional world. It is completely mind driven with parasitic thoughts, and entities are attached to you. So if you're a very fearful person, you will have entities that can attach onto you, as in negative entities, something that is looking for love, and because now they have found fear in you, they will start to embed inside of you. Now this doesn't mean that there is a ghost or something that has come and stuck itself onto you. It just means that there is a negative charge around you. Okay, so if you're a negative person, as a woman, if you're a negative woman, you will feel even more sad, because it's the law of attraction. Whatever you're giving out is coming back to you, and even 10 times more. So if you're feeling angry at someone, sometimes that emotion stays with you for longer than necessary, because suddenly you're attracting that sort of negative energy as well, and that will stay with you and encompass you. Okay, this is what is happening in the third dimensional world. And now it is an illusion. The whole of this third dimensional world is an illusion, as it is a self-imposed experiment or something that has been passed down through generations. So basically, you might be aware of soul contracts. It's basically what we are going to do on this planet Earth. It is something that we have pre-decided, and now that we are going to act out this entire experiment on this planet and try to transmute those feelings. This is where the four-dimensional word comes in, because now when sometimes we awaken suddenly because of some sad incidents, or somebody tells you that this is not right in your life, and you suddenly see a difference in how you were in a third dimensional world, and now you suddenly woken up and something has led to that spiritual awakening in you. So now the fourth dimensional world is like a rainbow bridge. It's a very beautiful analogy, because it just means that you are now ready to cross a beautiful part into a very beautiful higher world. It's also the part where you have your astral travel or lucid dreaming, and you see some entities there. So you feel spiritually awakened, but actually right now you're also feeling like a totally blind person, because now you don't know what to do next. So it feels actually worse sometimes, because now you know something is not right, but you don't know how to change it, or you have just started to change your reality by starting meditation. Or even if you are a meditator for years, sometimes people are stuck in the four dimensional world, because now there are certain things that they cannot change or are stuck now, and now before they feel that they can move on to higher consciousness, they have to change certain things within them. This is where you feel sometimes stuck, when you feel you need to change something. This is where the 4D world comes in. Every possible supernatural creature exists here. Anything and everything you can think of that you've read in stories: witches, fairies, dwarfs, elves, vampires, dinosaurs, in a way that you sense them, okay, and you can see them during meditation. When you close your eyes and you've got visions of the past or future, or when you have visions of certain animals or certain beings being with you during vision, you might have seen that. I have seen lots of beings during meditation, and they're not necessarily human souls. This is where you see them. That's the particular realm. I also like to call it the spiritual boot camp. So this is where you are actually going to get certain abilities that will help you move into a higher consciousness. So how do you do that? That's the part I'm going to just very briefly talk about. It's basically taking in all the feelings that you have from the past and those of your past lives, and also the lifetimes of your ancestors, and you transmute those feelings one by one, through meditation. And you let go of them, you heal them, and that is how you're moving your consciousness into the fifth dimension and higher. So there's not just fifth dimension, there's also higher dimensions, but that's actually where the realm or the higher consciousness begins. Nobody, once you're in that consciousness, nobody can easily bring you down from there. And that's what as women we are aiming at. So fifth dimension is now the actual experience of life. The experiment has gone or is still happening around you on a day-to-day basis, and you're just learning from it faster now. So don't think that once you're in a fifth dimension that you're just living there. It's not a physical realm that you just go and live there. You're still living. Your reality is still here. Your reality in quotes is still here in this third dimension, and you're still going to have those experiments, and you will on a daily basis transmute feelings of anger or fear or whatever it is that you may feel, and keep yourself in a fifth dimension regular on an ongoing basis. You can see through anything that is not true. Okay, it's not just a feeling of saying that you're lying or I'm lying, but you are that truth. That's why I put it in capital T. It just means that you are now aware of a one single truth, and that is usually you being one with the universe. Okay, and there is, you don't see any difference between myself, yourself, he, she, and everyone else. You're now heart driven as opposed to mind driven, which was the 3D and the 4D reality. You're heart driven along with full third eye activation. So you're going to use your intuitive powers as well as the heart to finally make decisions and to use that to help not only your higher self, but also the higher self of other souls. So here, when you have finally found your higher self, and higher self is simply, if you want to find an analogy, if you want to understand what your higher self is, most of you would understand this when I'm talking. But imagine if this the self is you. Again, I'm not taking this as a sense of I, but just to give an analogy. But a higher self is a much bigger, let's say a bigger shadow, a very green, a very beautiful white light behind you, who is always trying to guide you to do the right things. You connect with your higher self. This is the fifth dimensional world. And there you are constantly in touch with your higher self. You just feel all the time that you are being guided by your higher self, the divine in you. You are now an angelic being, you are divine, and you're one with the universe. This is what the whole experiment was about. So when you have fully transmuted the feelings of your life, your past lives, and the past lives of others, you are now in the fifth dimension. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not in a fifth dimension if you haven't fully transmuted. There's a part of you which is already there, and you know it. As a meditator, you are aware that there is a part of you that still lives in the 3D. And I'm not saying that you're not grounded and you have to live in 5D. What I'm trying to say is that you know a part that needs healing. So that will come to you bit by bit. Even during meditations, you might realize there's a past life that you need to heal. And it's an ongoing experiment. But now the reality of it, the experience that you're having is now the higher consciousness, which is really very, very beautiful. So, in other words, self realization has occurred to you. Isn't that beautiful? Now you feel that you have transcended from a lower reality into a higher reality. And you have the capacity to do that on an ongoing basis. Why am I talking to you as a woman here? We as women, we know that we are responsible for not just ourselves, we are also responsible for our family. And God has given us this gift of embodying the divine feminine. Of course, we have a balance of divine masculine as well as divine feminine. But because physically we appear as women, we have the characteristics of being able to enact that on this planet Earth in the 3D reality. And so we activate those parts, especially the heart chakra and the third eye, which is exactly what the 5D is all about. So, as women, we already have the capacity, a much higher capacity than men, to be in the 5D world because we are already heart driven. We have a lot of love for our children that automatically comes to us, to most of us. And then the third eye activation, which we can anyway, don't we have intuitive powers? Women already have that. They are much stronger when they have they're much stronger because of their intuitive powers, and we can just enhance them by doing meditation. So you're now an angelic being, you're divine, and you're one with the universe. So what is the role of meditation then in all of this? So I'll just briefly read this. You all know, and you might be already aware of this. When we meditate, we practice looking deeply within us in order to bring light and clarity into our way of seeing things. When the vision of no self is obtained, our delusion is removed. That is what we call transformation. That is what we are doing in the 3D world. We are removing the delusion of fear, anger, lust, jealousy, and then a vision of no self is obtained. Transformation is possible with deep understanding. The moment the vision of no self is there, the elusive notion of I am disintegrates. And we find ourselves enjoying in every moment freedom and happiness. That's the kind of vision I have for women across the globe. And that's something I'm trying to do with women in North America, at least in Canada. So we want to be in a place of no I. Now, I'm not saying you drop your self preservation, okay? We are talking about an ego sense, the deep consciousness that we have that needs to disintegrate in the material sense and say, I am no more. I am, if the only I am you only want to talk about is I am one with the universe, I am one with the divine feminine. And that's what we are trying to achieve through meditation. And briefly, you all know how to enhance meditation. You can use pyramids, you can do group meditations, you can use crystals, you can meditate in nature on full moon days or with days which have other celestial or religious events. The energies are very, very high during these times. Now, what are the ways of upholding? So now you realize, okay, a part of you has awakened and is already in the higher consciousness. And now you know that there are certain parts that you're transmuting on a day to day basis, and you're working towards that higher consciousness by passing that 4D world. Now, remember, it's not a physical thing that you have to feel. You might just be such a great meditator by now and so good at transmuting that you jump realities within a few seconds. Okay, so you've basically closed the bridge between the 3D and the 5D world. That's why I call it a rainbow bridge. It's really beautiful because the rainbow is now there, and it's like a crossover that you feel, okay, now I'm ready to transmute feelings. Like somebody says something to you, you're not triggered anymore. You're already in a higher consciousness, and that doesn't affect you. And if it did trigger you slightly, you have the capacity to step back and think, okay, that person said something to me, let me just analyze that. You feel that emotion, you transmute it. Transmute means you get rid of it by freeing it, and then you move that, you get wisdom from that incident, and now you live in a higher consciousness. So how do you do that? By being mindful. That's the first and foremost step. Then you be in now, be in the present moment. I've written in capital letters because anything that has happened in the past is not important in terms of feelings. You only learn from the experience of that. Whatever is going to happen in the future, you don't know. You don't even know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. So why not enjoy the present moment? Enjoy time with your children, with your work, or your even housework. When you're cleaning the house, just be happy. Oh, I don't want to clean the house, I feel tired. Sure, be very much in tune with your feelings, but don't outright force yourself to do things. But when you're doing something, just enjoy it. And that is what being in the now is. Become vegetarian, vegan, fruitarian, breatharian. That's the final step, I would say, for me. So, whatever part of the journey you are at, vegetarianism is extremely important. Be in the company of like minded people and get their worldly and spiritual wisdom. Since your sense of ego has been completely destroyed, and I'm not saying in a negative sense, I just mean that you know that it doesn't matter what I stands for in terms of spirituality, then you will be very happy to receive guidance and learn from the experiences of like minded people or masters, grandmasters. You learn to hold your personal space, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. Because imagine you know that you have to interact with a lot of people, especially as women, we are center of that, anyways. So you withhold a space where you know that if something is not right for you spiritually, where it's or it might affect you mentally, you keep that at a distance, not because you're trying to fight it, but you're preserving your consciousness. There's a difference between fighting and preserving. You will only fight it if you know that there is something that needs healing, but you will preserve it because you know that it's very precious. Okay, there's a very fine line that you walk here. And once you are into that consciousness, once you're a meditator and deeply meditating now, you will know the difference between the two. You engage in only meaningful dialogue, otherwise, please maintain silence. Be in nature. Declutter your home and personal space. Ladies, we really need to be mindful of that. Don't gather material stuff and stuff your home with it. Everything has energy, and the more stuff we don't need we keep in the house, it just adds on to the negative energy. So declutter, donate. As a rule of thumb, if anything I have not used between 3 to 5 years, any object, I just give it away. It means I don't need it. If I need it once in 10 years, that's not called a need. I can go and get it, I can borrow from someone. Declutter your home. You're responsible for your home, as most women would identify that they are responsible for their home, for cleanliness of their home. We clean the home, we clean our hearts. We also need to declutter it. Get nature in, get plants in. That will enhance the energies. Light a candle, light incense, put up pictures of gods that you're or gurus that you identify with, or anything that reminds you of them. Put crystals, look after them, enjoy that space. Create a temple, a physical temple. Listen to meaningful videos and read books to enhance spiritual wisdom. And you know that very well, whatever we listen, we are creating a reality because it is going into our subconscious mind. So why don't we listen to anything that's meaningful, so that we are creating a good outcome out of it? Do service onto others, and the highest service that you can do is spiritual service. Teach spirituality, even if you do to one person, and begin with your children. Don't try to change anyone. If you change yourself, you will automatically be such a light. Most women complain that my husband doesn't do meditation. Change yourself. The change begins with you. The moment you start changing yourself, the reality around you will start to shift, and that includes people. Everything is energy. Your energy is changing, their energy is going to change. Teach your children meditation from a very early age. 1 minute a day, start with that. Don't push them into 10 minutes, but start with that. We have a huge responsibility to do that, because we have given birth to these souls. They have come to the earth through us. Speak your truth. Okay, truth doesn't mean that you're standing up and shouting that, hey, this happened to me, you did this to me. Speak your truth just means that you know that what is right, and you raise your voice. Okay, at least, and begin in your house, within your household. You raise your voice means you express yourself in a very calm and a very peaceful manner. Meditate, and meditate some more. We can't even begin to imagine the importance of that. Practice gratitude. It's the one of the highest emotions we have, that we have to practice. Practice gratitude, be love, and love others. When you're one with the universe, that's the first emotion that comes out. Be love. So love, gratitude, meditation, speaking your truth, and being in the now are probably the most important points on this slide. So I would just like to finish by saying that world is a multidimensional reality. At lower level, it is filled with unconsciousness and competitiveness. At higher levels, it is filled with beauty, bliss, and divinity. Focus on higher dimensions, my friends. The world outside of you does not need to change in order to give you a fifth dimensional perspective of it. You can and do access this energy. And the longer you hold it, the more comfortable you become with it. And the more comfortable you become with it, the easier it is for you to find it. Isn't that beautiful? It's absolutely my favorite. So thank you so much for being with me today. There is a YouTube channel that I'm starting very soon. If anybody is inspired to follow that, I'm also on Instagram at Sanveen K. Thank you so much. So we are now going to begin meditation. Simply close your eyes, clasp your hands, and cross your feet. And wherever you are, just get comfortable. Start to observe your breath, how you're inhaling and exhaling. and with a deep sense of belonging, a connection to the higher worlds. A smile on your face or within your heart. Start your meditation. Start to feel your body getting even more relaxed. Your facial muscles, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, back, and stomach. And finally, your legs and feet. Let go of those muscles and the tension inside them that make your body stiff. Keep observing your breath. Your breath, such a beautiful thing. It is the anchor into this 3D reality. It's the part that connects you inherently between different realities, between different consciousness. If it wasn't for this breath, you wouldn't be alive in this body. Feel the energy flowing inside of you as you breathe in. Let that energy spread and exhale any negativity that you may be feeling today. The breath is the most beautiful part of this meditation for me. It keeps me focused in the now with absolutely no worries of the past and of the future. Today, as we meditate, we are of the intention that today we are going to lift ourselves into that higher consciousness and stay there. We will not flit between the 4D and the 3D reality as and when it suits us. We will not flit between the 4D and the 5D reality as and when it suits us. Each time we get angry, we move into a lower level of consciousness. Each time we feel fear, we move into a lower level of consciousness. Let us work on ourselves in such a way that these feelings arise only if absolutely required. And even then, we are able to transmute that. Transmute these negative emotions that we are feeling. Transmute any deep rooted fear. Fears related to future, fears related to anybody's health in the family or your own health, fears related to your sexuality. Just be in the present moment. And focus on the breath. Now start to imagine a big pool of light above your head. This light is to help you this light now starts to enter your body through the Sahasrara. From on top of your head, slowly making its way down through your skull, healing any aspects of your mind consciousness or store consciousness, dissolving any feelings of I, the ego I, melting it away completely. Let this light go further down, spread through your arms, your chest, as it crosses your throat chakra and heart chakra. Let it heal those aspects of you which were not able to speak the truth, that lived in fear, Let us not confuse the truth between aggressiveness and anger, but the divine truth. Let the healing light now encompass the heart chakra and heal any aspects of you that felt hurt or miserable. Feel the gratitude of this beautiful moment that all of us are together here. And now, as the light spreads lower, let it linger around the root and the sacral chakras, the lower chakras of the body. As women, often we find the lower three chakras blocked of self love. And we feel less love towards ourselves. We feel fearful, shameful, even. These are the chakras that need healing, the lower three chakras, so as to transmute any feelings of shame, fear, or hatred towards self. We are so good at looking after other people, but first we need to learn to love ourselves. That's where we need to heal these lower chakras. Feel the light cleanse anything from the past that is affecting blockages in these chakras. Let the energy cleanse the area around the Muladhara, the root chakra. This is where it all began. The power we have as women to give birth to a human being. This chakra needs healing all the time on a daily basis. And finally, let that light reach your lower limbs, right to the tip of your toes. Let this energy now leave your body deep into Mother Earth. Let the earth take in all the negativity that has been stored up inside of you. Let every cell be cleansed, every part of your body feeling light and cleansed, because all the negative energy has now gone inside Mother Earth, deep into Earth, deep, 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 deep down. Let that energy reach the core of the earth. Keep channeling this light, my friends. Keep channeling this light. Let the pure light come in from on top of your head, and let the negative charge leave your body from your toes. And as the light reaches the core of the earth, it's becoming cleansed once again. And now coming back to you, through you, it goes back into the higher heavens. This cleansed light from Mother Earth back into the universe. With your heart feeling pure, calm, and peaceful. Feel the gratitude once again of the beautiful moment. Feel grateful that we are women, that we have the capacity to heal ourselves, that our heart chakras are already activated. We already have our third eye activated too. All we need, my dear friends, is to heal ourselves, heal our past, so that we continue to be a beacon of light and love, so that the only thing we ever pass down to our generations is this feeling of love and light, this wisdom from spirituality. Repeat after me, my friends. I am light. I am divine. I am love. I am a beautiful embodiment of the divine masculine and the feminine. My consciousness belongs to only higher realms and worlds. I am a goddess. I speak my truth. I am love. Gently rub our palms together. Cover our eyes. And with all these affirmations and all the love in our hearts and feelings of gratitude, open your eyes whenever you're ready. Thank you, my friends, for joining me today. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much. And really wonderful session. You wonderfully explained about all the four layers of consciousness: mind consciousness, sense consciousness, store, and deeper consciousness. Beautifully explained, Sanveen, and the role of meditation in our lives. And you also explained about how the ways to uphold our 5D consciousness, like to be mindful, to utilize full moon meditations, to become a vegetarian, to stay in this present moment, and so many beautiful things you have explained. Thank you so much, Sanvin, for sharing all these beautiful insights with all of us.
It was a pleasure.
And meditation was so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yes, we received a lot of comments like thank you, Sanvin, and beautiful Sanvin ji, namaste Sanvin ji, beautifully explained. So many comments from different masters. Yes.
I will be putting up this presentation. Actually, I took a couple of days ago with another group. It lasted 2.5 hours.
Yes.
So
Huge subject. Yes, yes, yes.
it's a very deep subject. I actually removed about 5 or 6 slides
Yeah,
because of the time we had, but I will be uploading this a detailed version of this on YouTube very soon.
sure.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to follow that, that would they are most welcome to do so.
Yes, Sanvin. Thank you so much once again, Sanveen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, friends, for joining and utilizing this Divine Goddess sessions. And tomorrow, let's connect with one more master. Until then, bye. Thank you.
Thanks.